Is your spouse your best friend?
We can't do it.
No, that's not what you said.
What did I say? We'll show you how. I'll forget that I gotta sit up like a freak.
Don't say that. Just stop.
You ready?
Yeah. Welcome back to Adore Your Spouse, where marriages get happier. We want to talk for a few minutes about your spouse being your best friend. In The 4 Loves, C.S. Lewis talks about the 4 types of love that have to be present in a marriage. And one of those is friendship. It's super important. I want to give you this example. So we recently had Thanksgiving, right? And we get there, Blaine unloads stuff, he hangs out for a few minutes, and then he heads down to the theater room where football games are already, projected. And I'm upstairs and the sisters-in-law come and we're cooking and we're chatting and we're doing our thing. And then the guys come up and we have dinner and they talk for a little bit. And then they head back downstairs and they did little dishes and things. And at the end of the day, we were on our way home and I was like, Blaine, why didn't you, seems like you barely even talked to your brothers the whole day.
We talked through the whole game.
Well, and he was
Did you see that tackle? Did you see that play?
And he was like, Audrey, we watched the football game together. That's how guys bond. And he's right.
Amen.
There's a lot of, you can look at studies and all that kind of stuff, but really all you have to do is take a minute and look at the way men and women are wired differently. Men sit side by side, facing in the same direction, doing an activity together, and they bond through doing the activity together.
Yep.
Women face each other, look each other in the eyes, and converse in order to bond with other women. So what does that mean in a marriage then? What's the translation to your marriage? It's that...
Don't get ticked off if the other spouse wants to talk or if you're
no, it means that you guys have got to do stuff together.
Well, sure.
You've got to do manly stuff together, and you've got to do some womanly stuff together.
But at the same time, you don't want to get ticked off because your spouse
Yes.
is that way, that they're just that way, and you're just your way, and you've got to learn to accept that and appreciate that because that's what makes the world go round, right?
Yeah.
Because you're different, and you experience different things because you're different. So, I just think it's a fabulous concept, and it's a very important one to understand so you can have the marriage you want. You can not get ticked off over little things, and you can make sure you have those times when you sit down and you talk, and you look at each other, and times when you don't. Our son went to dinner with his fiancée last week, and he's like, I want to sit next to you. And she's like, no, I want you to sit across from me because I want to look at you and I want to talk to you. So that's the same thing.
Yes,
so.
that's that. And so it's manifest all the time. And you both need a friend. You need your spouse to be your best friend because you're going through life together and you have to manage so many things together that you need to really like each other. Mm-hmm. And so if you understand this one simple concept of how men bond and how women bond, then you can sprinkle your marriage with both on a really regular basis.
You can have that deep friendship for both male and female.
Yeah.
So the wife feels that connection and your discussion, but the guy feels the connection because you're having shared experiences.
And it's concerning because it feels like the therapy world pushes communication so heavily that men get burdened with the idea that the only way they can have a marriage is to only ever talk to their wife. Talking is important, and men need to know they need to take time for that type of bonding and friendship. But women need to know that men need to go do things. They need to fish with their wife and have her just sit in the boat next to them, They really need you to do things with them. Yeah, I sit in the cart and read. It's great. So our challenge to you is twofold. First of all, stop resenting your spouse because they don't bond in the friendship with you the way that you do, the way that you want them to. Accept that they're a man or a woman, and that's how they're wired. And number 2, get busy. And the first thing you could do is plan 2 activities in the next 2 weeks. One that's a more male-centric activity and one that's a more female-centric activity. And do those things together to build your friendship because you not only probably want your spouse to be your best friend, you really need your spouse to be your best friend.
You sure do. Absolutely.
And thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and share and pass this on. You can head over to Adore Your Spouse for a bunch of free resources we've got there for you. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, you can have the marriage that you want. So if you feel like you want your marriage to be better and your spouse isn't interested in working on it with you, I think that if you work on it, they'll get to the point where they want to work on it, because that's usually what happens. But even if they don't, let's say you started working on yourself, and because you're 50% of the